What do Tony Soprano and RuPaul have in common? Well, they both exploited drag queens to make a lot of money and then pivoted into fracking. This and more on this week's episode of
Too Many Tabs.
Remember to smile.
Welcome to Too Many Tabs, a podcast where a husband and wife duo sits next to each other at a table in very interesting shirts. That's right.
I bought these.
You did buy those. What's yours say?
Wait, what's it say? You read
It says, yeah, I'm transporting these hot dogs from my mouth to my stomach.
Let's go.
And what does mine say?
It says, yeah, I'm gay. Got a yearning for hot dogs.
Yeah, because it's June. And what does that mean? It means we're grilling, right, everybody?
Hot dogs.
We're grilling hot dogs. We're boiling hot dogs. We're ingesting hot dogs.
Hot dogs sliced up in baked beans.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Hot dogs sliced up in mac and cheese. Or my personal favorite, hot dogs sliced up in ramen noodles.
Yeah, that's because you grew up real poor.
Yeah, but I like those kind of things.
You do like those kind of things. And what we like here in June is obviously our gay hot dogs, but also a little bit of comedy history, Mrs. P.
And I've got comedy history for you this week. Are you ready?
I am ready.
This starts in 1890. Cameron Diaz is there, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay, no, that's Gangs of New York.
Yes.
That is Gangs of New York.
Oh, yeah. No, I do need to talk about the gangs in New York, but I thought it'd be fun to bring them into it.
Okay, why? What do they have to do with anything?
Vibes. So listen, the 5 Point gangs were groups of various Irish immigrants and Irish American gangs in the 5 Points area of New York.
I've seen the movie.
That's very funny that they say, we're Irish Americans and you're just Irish. Classic.
Oh, okay.
Classic.
So they really were just like, I did it the right way.
Yeah.
That's
Out the gate.
Okay.
So there's this one Irish gangster from the 5 Points crew called Paul Kelly.
Paul Kelly, a very
But-
Irish name.
But he was born Paolo Antonio Vaccarelli.
Are you telling me that Paul Kelly, Rachel Dolezal being Irish?
Yes, I'm saying that. He picked a different, more Irish-sounding name so he could join the 5 Points gangs.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So this Italian guy
Yeah.
is like, actually, I'm Irish.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
amazing. Okay.
So he becomes really powerful within the 5 Points gangs, and eventually it comes out that he's actually Italian.
It comes out he's actually Italian?
He comes out of the Italian closet.
Okay. This is incredible. All right.
And his specific 5 Points gang has a reputation for brutality when it comes to battling their rival gangs. And he was known for fighting to the death.
Oh.
Okay? So like if you're fighting with him and his crew, they're going to die or you're going to die.
Oh, okay. So it's like that scene from Anchorman.
What?
You've seen the movie Anchorman?
Have I?
Somebody has a pitchfork?
I don't know.
Okay, so it's like that scene from Gangs of New York.
Yes, exactly.
You've seen that movie, Gangs of New York?
With Cameron Diaz.
Someone
and
has
Daniel
a pitchfork?
So, the gangs, and here's the other thing about Paul Kelly.
Yeah.
His gang would gain more power, not just because they're like killing everybody else, but they would recruit any remaining members of the other gangs.
Oh.
So if you did survive, he'd be like, well, why don't you join my gang?
Hey, yo, you know what? That's like literally how bacteria becomes antibiotic resistance. Like, hey.
Don't you bring up
hey.
science over here.
I'm just saying. Hey, listen, you survived the onslaught of me and my boys.
You seem like a pretty tough cookie.
What are your thoughts about coming over here? I don't care that you're the wrong type of Catholic.
As time went on, Jewish, Polish, and Eastern European immigrants would also be brought into the ranks of the 5 Point gang.
Can I just tell you real fast? An Italian pretending to be an Irishman bringing in Jews is wild. This is the American story. When people are like, oh no, I can't believe that they're post-racial fascists. Baby, we had pre-racial fascism.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, this actually made him even more powerful and influential. Also, in these gangs, so the 5 Point gang,
Yeah.
it used to be like, there were multiple 5 Points gangs. That's what you saw in the movie, right?
Yeah, there's literally 5 points in the streets coming together, and this is where these are 5
He
gangs.
eventually makes the 5 Points gang.
Oh.
Right? He like makes a conglomerate because he's absorbing all of them.
Yeah. This is literally, I just watched a thing about the first emperor of China.
Yeah.
This is the same story. It's just New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in his ranks was a man named Al Capone, who eventually moves to Chicago. But all of his training he got in these gangs. Okay. He also has this guy named Charles Lucky Luciano.
I've heard of this guy.
Now, Charles Lucky Luciano was born in Sicily.
Okay.
Immigrates to America when he's 8 in 1906. And as a teenager, he started his own gang. And as he's like in his own gang, he like also becomes like part of the 5 Points gang. Because what I start to understand from gang culture, reading up on all this mob stuff, is gang culture at this point is just a franchise. It's like buying a franchise.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to start my little gang, but I want to be under your umbrella of the name. So I'm going to pay into you for the protection of your name, but I'm going to do my own little
licensing
thing.
rights.
Yeah, it's licensing rights.
Yeah, 100%.
To the name.
Yeah.
So he has his own petty crime gang, and everybody that's like in the 5 Points, they think he's like a kid. They're like, oh, that kid. Because he's doing petty crimes, and then he starts offering protection services to Jewish kids and Italian kids for 10 cents a week. So like, are you getting beat up on your way to school? Is somebody calling you a slur? We'll protect you for 10 cents a week.
Hey, you tired of people throwing your matzo bread into the sewer? Call Lucky Luciano. For a $1 a week, I'll beat the fuck out of somebody.
Anybody, really.
I got rage problems.
So he got a lot of problems. So then World War I happens, right?
Bad war.
Bad war. Here's the thing. Charles Lucky Luciano, I'm just going to call him Lucky. Lucky starts learning a new trade.
Okay.
And that is what we would call pimping.
Oh,
okay.
That's not easy.
No, it's not. It's not an easy thing to learn. Also, he was 16.
Okay.
He's 16 and he starts sexually exploiting women.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Not great. Not great, guys.
Because especially like, and just so you guys know, I know some people are like, oh, we should root. This is like the Andrew Tate level shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is we are doing live action Discord servers here.
Yeah.
This is where we're going in this direction. Keep going.
In January 17th of 1920, the 18th Amendment of the United States Constitution took effect.
Boo!
And Prohibition was enforced for the next 13 years. Hold on. I need a sip of Fresca.
Yeah, you need a sip of Fresca.
No Prohibition could ever take my Fresca away from me.
Wasn't Fresca invented because of Prohibition?
I don't know. This is the peach citrus one. Love it.
Okay, we don't have a brand deal for them.
Call me.
Okay, but real fast, just Prohibition in general. Prohibition is a dividing line in American history. Before Prohibition, the 18th Amendment got passed, America was hammered.
Yeah.
We were a drunk nation.
Sure.
Constantly, consistently. There were some counties that were a little bit drier, but like that's kind of where the violent differences are in our history when we look pre-Prohibition, post-Prohibition. But the other thing to keep in mind, one thing you'll always notice is you'll hear stuff about the mafia, right? You hear stuff about the mafia all the time, and people always love it because they wore suits. People look back, oh, they were a different breed. There's the same as the Bloods and the Crips. The Bloods and the Crips were pushing crack and harder drugs because there's a prohibition on those harder drugs.
Yeah.
If it wasn't alcohol that had been banned, like if it had been a different thing,
Yeah.
the mafia, which eventually they did, would have gone into that.
Yeah.
So the idea of the prohibition just made these guys stronger. And you're going to cover a little more.
I did look it up. Fresca was invented in 1966.
Okay.
And it was famously U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson's favorite beverage.
Really?
He kept it stocked at the White House.
LBJ drank a Fresca?
Loved a Fresca.
I wonder if he had a Fresca button.
Fresca, please. Okay.
Fresca, please.
So 18th Amendment.
Something was, I swear though, there was one of them though was invented. Get in the comments. I can tell you can already feel it. All right.
Somebody knows. Somebody knows.
You know exactly what it is. There was some soft drink that maybe it was Mountain Dew. It's something like that though that was like invented as a mixer in like around Prohibition time.
I bet you're right.
It feels like it.
So the amendment prohibited the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages. Since the demand for alcohol continued, the resulting black market for alcoholic beverages provided criminals with an additional source of income.
Yes.
Lucky Luciano and his best guy friend Vito Genovese started their own bootlegging operation.
Yay!
Yay!
We love an entrepreneur.
Yeah, this is the American dream. Scodio. This is gonna get bad. So Lucky Luciano also around the same time, in 1923, he starts selling heroin. You brought it up. Okay.
I did bring it up.
He was caught in a sting selling heroin to undercover cops.
That's how it always
Classic.
happens.
Classic.
Some guy walks up. It's like, you got any heroin? Yeah.
Some guy with like a crew cut gets out of a Dodge Charger with a blacked out license plate. You go, that guy's definitely not a cop.
Hey, but also it's like I love that this is pre the tactics, because now, ask me how I know if we lived on the block, is you ask the guy at the end and you pay him.
Yep.
And then he tells you further down the road to talk to another kid who then gives a nod.
Yells
and then
out the window.
And then a third guy comes running.
Yeah.
And so it's never your hand. This was early. He was like, hey, can I have heroin? Yeah, here you go. Oh, okay, cool. Cop.
So he gets no jail time because he does have money at this point.
Yeah.
But being outed as a drug peddler damaged his reputation. Because here's the thing. Lucky Luciano is like a classy mobster. He wears the finest outfits. He hangs out with all the fancy rich people.
He's kingpin.
He's kingpin. And so when people found out he was selling heroin, they were like, ooh, gross, that's for the poors.
Wait, what's that mob boss doing? Selling
Gross.
drugs?
Gross.
Yeah, okay.
Low class.
Yeah.
So he decides he has to salvage his reputation. So Luciano buys 200 expensive seats, like front row seats, to the Jack Dempsey and Louis Firpo boxing match, and then distributes them to all the top gangsters and politicians in New York. He invites all the big guns.
You all come
literally.
over here and sit in my section.
And then him and his mentor go on a shopping spree to Wanamaker's department store in Manhattan to buy expensive clothes for the fight.
Oh.
Okay? So movie montage makeover.
Yeah. No, this is so smart, though, because he's like, oh, what, you're saying I'm poor? Look at me. I'm out here. I'm in my Ferragamo.
Yeah.
I'm in
Gucci.
my Dolce.
Dolce & Gabbana.
Dolce & Gabbana. Look at me. I'm hanging out in my Bergdorf. What's the one we went to? We walked through that one time, and I said I can't
Oh,
be
because it was
here.
raining? Bergdorf Goodman.
Bergdorf Goodman. I walked through a Bergdorf Goodman with this lady, and I literally just went, no.
I said, don't. He said,
I
don't you
turned
touch
into
that.
Bernie
Don't
in the
you
corner.
touch that.
I was over here. The taxes must be higher with the 1%. We should go higher.
I was like, look at this. Look how much it costs. And he was like, this is yelling.
I legit was like, that's a hospital. That's
Yeah.
a hospital.
And they're going to wear
We
it?
could pay. We wouldn't have had to drive 25 minutes to go to the fucking ER the other day if we had hospitals around. Okay, that's a different thing. Different thing. But real fast, this PR move is so smart.
Yeah.
It's so smart. I've had a theory about cancellation.
Okay.
My cancellation theory in the modern day, and this is probably true for back then. Number one, you only get canceled on one platform at a time.
Yeah.
So if you're getting canceled on Twitter, you're probably actually safe on Instagram.
Sure.
Or if it happens over on TikTok, you're probably safe on YouTube, right? There's like that part of it. But there's a secondary thing. For a lot of these personalities now, they've learned as long as you can survive that week, you're good.
Yeah.
Especially the streamers. I see a streamer get canceled on a Tuesday. By Thursday, they're doing some other wild shit. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the new wild thing.
Yeah.
Not the fact they did this other. So this is for him. He was like, all right, I got busted doing the heroin.
Well, I also was
what
just
if What if you
thinking-
take a picture of me with the attorney general and we're wearing big scarves?
Yeah, but I was also thinking that like this is very Trump at the UFC fights.
Yes.
You know, with Guy Fieri.
Yo, listen, there is literally a moment recently. I saw this clip. Joe Rogan was claiming that Trump getting booed at the Knicks wasn't real.
Okay.
Because it was like, no, it was more mixed. It was the first thing it wasn't. Everybody was. We covered it on Crashing Out this week. Fucking everybody was booing. You were sitting next to me on the couch.
Yeah, he wouldn't stop watching the booing clips.
A new angle. I would go, babe, a new angle. But
So again, to paint a picture from my perspective,
Yeah.
you were sitting on the other couch. I was sitting in the big chair where I read the books to the kid.
Yes.
And you're sitting on the chair. You're looking at your phone, swiping, and all I hear is deep, deep booing, and then you're giggling like a little kid kicking your feet.
boo.
Yeah, over and over again.
Boo. But what?
And then that one woman, are you scrolling?
yeah.
Boo.
So when So Rogan recently had a guest on, and
Okay.
Rogan said, he was like, no, I've seen Trump get walked out of the UFC fights. Everybody's cheering. And then somebody posted a clip from like 2.5 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Talking about Rogan, who is Joe Rogan's UFC announcer.
Yeah.
Talking about Trump getting mercilessly booed at UFC events.
Yeah.
Years prior because they didn't have the PSYOP gun aimed at the entire MMA algorithm at that point.
Well.
But yeah, the idea of fights especially, the fights aren't ever about the actual fight that's happening in there. It's about being seen. It's a gladiatorial combat. It's also a visceralness to them. And then attaching yourself to this, especially Jack Dempsey fights are a big moment.
Men like to watch scandalously dressed other strongmen beat each other up.
Yeah. Anyway, in about 8 hours, you can watch that on the White House lawn because this episode's being released the same day. Happy birthday, Mr. President. You don't have CTE anywhere near as close to the fighters that you just watched get bludgeoned on your front lawn. Or it rained. I don't know. We episode
Rain.
Come on, rain.
So the strategy worked.
Yeah.
I know, because then they'll just keep doing it. They don't care about people. So it'll rain and then they'll be all wet and fighting each other.
And shirtless.
Pride Month.
Oh my God.
So this strategy works. Luciano's reputation was saved.
Lucky
Everybody's
Luciano's.
like, no, this guy's classy and cool.
Yeah.
He wears fine designer clothes. He smells of good perfumes and colognes.
Yeah.
And he probably smokes good cigars.
Big fat cigars he puts in his mouth that he sucks on.
Yeah. So by 1925, Luciano was grossing over $12 million per year
Which is a lot of money back then.
and made a personal income of about $4 million per year running illegal gambling and bootlegging operations in New York and Philadelphia.
In New York City.
Now, Lucky and Vito Genovese at this point are creating what is now known as the Genovese crime family.
Okay.
Okay? This is a big deal. The Genovese crime family is like one of the most notorious, well-known crime families in the country.
Got it.
Okay? Lucky Luciano becomes the dominant crime boss, by the way. Because again, we've talked about who trained him. The guy that trained him was kill them all and then recruit everybody else.
Yeah,
right?
but Lucky's doing a little bit of a pivot on this.
Yeah.
The other guy was just like murder in the streets. And this guy's like, what are your thoughts on rent?
Yeah.
What about portfolio diversification? Which is a big part of it. I mean, this is part of the change in the mob versus the mafia versus as you're looking even further down.
Yeah.
It's about control levels that you get. And when you go back to the 5 Points era, it's dudes literally just beating the shit out of each other in the streets.
Yeah.
And then slowly over time, it's just it's almost like the filibuster.
Yeah.
Okay, are we going to speak? No, but we don't have the votes to stop you, so let's just call it a day.
Yeah, and Tammany Hall played a lot of things back in the day.
Which is a big New York political machine in the Democratic Party.
So Lucky Luciano becomes super dominant crime boss. He had reached the pinnacle of the underworld. He was setting policies and directing activities for almost all the other mafia bosses. So he was like kingpin.
Yeah.
Right? Like the other guys are meeting with him and he's telling them how the criminal rackets are going to go, right?
Yeah, he's basically the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was doing illegal gambling, extortion, bookmaking, loan sharking, drug trafficking, and then he becomes very influential in labor union activities.
Okay.
Because he controlled the Manhattan waterfront.
Okay.
And there was a lot of money to be made in the Manhattan waterfront and the ports. He was in charge, or he had his hands in garbage hauling, construction, garment district businesses, trucking, port authorities like the boats and stuff. And when we come back from break, I want to talk to you about some other waterfront stuff he got into.
Everyone wants to eat healthy in the summer. Do it the easy, delicious way with Factor. Factor meals are designed by dietitians and prepared by real chefs. Ready in 2 minutes. No planning, no cooking. Factor has tons of meals, all made with nutrient-dense ingredients that work with any routine or diet. You'll never get bored, and you'll love what you eat on your schedule.
Let me tell you something. Factor came in clutch this week. We've had a sick toddler. It's been incredibly difficult to get a meal, let alone think about, what vegetables, protein, starches. No, 2 minutes in the microwave, we have a meal, and we know it's healthy and fresh.
We had to do it in shifts. You left, you did your 2 minute meal, you shoveled it into your mouth, and you went, I feel delicious and just the right amount of full. Then I walked into the kitchen and I did the same thing, except I ate mine over the sink. It's a different world. Factor's menu changes all the time, just like your life. So keep an eye out for new dishes. Next week's menu has pulled barbecue chicken. Perfect for summer. Factor also has delicious breakfast options, snacks, and drinks. Try the apple cinnamon overnight oats and cold pressed juices for nutrition on the go. Head to factormeals.com/toomany50off and use code toomany50off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box. New subscriptions only, while supplies last, until September 27, 2026. See website for more details, and thank you for sponsoring this show, Factor. And we are back.
And we're at the waterfront.
Oh.
Ferris wheels, roller coasters. No, it's not that kind of waterfront.
No, this
it's
is
dock
like,
supports.
Yeah, this is dark piers and
Yeah.
barrels and shipping containers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the waterfront is incredibly important. Now,
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan at this time for Lucky Luciano. But here's the problem. He gets arrested.
Oh, no.
For pandering.
Pandering?
Yeah, like Bo Burnham. Pandering. No, I'm
Pandering.
kidding. That's what they called what we would call compulsory prostitution back then.
Pimping.
Yes.
Okay. So they called it pandering?
They called it pandering back then.
Okay, because what? Okay,
I don't know why.
I'm trying to picture.
But
it
as
in
soon
my
as
mind,
I
but-
saw that he got arrested for pandering, I like literally pictured Bo Burnham singing that song.
yeah, pandering.
And I was like, wait, what? But then I looked up. Okay, wait. He gets sent to Sing Sing. Okay.
Sing Sing's a prison.
When he gets sent to Sing Sing prison.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he's still running the Mafia family.
Yeah, just like
from
Kingpin.
inside. Yeah. He's like doing the sliced garlic with the thin razor.
Yeah, just like Kingpin.
No, that's Goodfellas, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's been a while since I've seen Goodfellas. But I'm saying in general, like
Yeah.
Kingpin, like one of the things with Kingpin and Al Capone,
Yeah.
and a lot of these guys, putting them in jail never cut them off.
No, it just took a
completely.
little break.
They take a little break, but they still have connections to the outside. They can
Yeah.
always get messages out.
And
of those.
you sometimes get treated better. Al Capone, famously, his prison cell in Philly, luxurious.
Yeah, across the street from where we met at Eastern State Penitentiary.
That's where we met.
Yeah, we
for
met
the
across
first
the
time.
street.
Yeah.
We met across the street from a prison.
Do you think that means Al Capone blessed our marriage?
I think we've been blessed by many things.
Yeah, hot
Yeah.
dogs.
Hot dogs.
So here's the thing. He eventually steps down. Okay?
Lucky
Lucky's
Luciano.
gonna step down from the crime family. Vito Genovese is gonna take over. And
They allowed him to retire.
Here's the thing. He actually goes on like this weird side quest adventure where he goes to Cuba to do business in Cuba, and he ends up becoming like best friends with Frank Sinatra, and then he gets forcibly brought back to America and then forcibly deported to Italy. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on, but I need to get past Lucky.
Okay.
Because we got to get into Vito.
Because a lot happened there very rapidly that
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
said. And I was like, so many different things I could do tie-ins to.
No.
But we're just going to skip all that.
Skip it. Let's get back to the waterfront,
All right.
docks, and ports. Here's the thing that these mafiosos noticed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young men coming in and out of the ports.
Because they like fish.
Yeah, they're looking for jobs. They're looking for homes. They're coming in from different countries.
Yep.
They probably left their family behind in some cases. And so they're trying to basically get as much money out of these guys as they can. So
Yeah,
they're
'cause
doing
also-
gambling,
yeah,
their
there's
alcohol.
literal immigration coming in.
Yeah, there's gambling, there's the alcohol. So they're finding all these ways to make money off of every man that's coming off of a boat, right?
Yeah.
And they find this one extra thing that I didn't mention that these guys are looking for. A little bit of gay stuff.
What?
Yeah. The Genovese crime family is like, okay, so we've got booze and we've got venues, we've got security guards, and we've got the cops on payroll. Let's open up some underground gay bars.
Oh.
And they're going to corner this market for like decades.
So the Genovese crime family was running gay bars across New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of like take that knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and filter it down to one specific group of mafiosos. These four guys from the Genovese crime family. They go and buy a restaurant at 51-53 Christopher Street for $3,500 in 1966. Fat Tony pays $2,000 for the restaurant. His three business partners, Zuki Zarfus, Tony the Sniff, and Joey, each paid $500.
Okay. Got
So
it.
we know who's in charge. Fat Tony is in charge.
Yep.
And then Zuki, Tony the Sniff, and Joey.
And these are just four guys making a nice place for these fellas to dance together.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the place
Now,
called?
this gay bar is called the Stonewall Inn.
Oh, it's the Stonewall
The
Inn.
Stonewall Inn.
The Stonewall Inn.
The Stonewall Inn.
I've driven past there like multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time I end up in New York, I always end up like
Well, we stayed in hotels where you can like see it out the window sometimes.
yeah, but no, there's one though where I've driven past there. I'm always like, oh, it's not really bright over here. They're like Stonewall. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it's nice. After acquiring the building, the owners renovated the exterior, blacked out the windows for privacy, reinforced the wooden front doors with steel plates in anticipation of police raids. The new operators added peepholes, several locks to the front door, and they removed columns that flanked the original entrance. The operators also placed 2x4 pieces of wood behind the windows so police couldn't easily enter through windows during raids.
So they basically just fortified the entire building
Yes.
against police raids.
Yes.
And they said, get in here, Queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stonewall's owners could not obtain a liquor license because the state laws in 1960 did not allow bartenders to legally serve LGBTQ plus people. While homosexuality was legal in the state of New York, establishments openly serving alcohol to gay customers were considered by the state liquor authority to be, quote, disorderly houses or places where, quote, unlawful practices are habitually carried out in public. So the SLA refused to issue liquor licenses to most gay bars, and several popular establishments had liquor licenses suspended or revoked for, quote, indecent conduct.
Because there was I think there was rules against men dancing together.
Yeah.
You could be gay, but you couldn't do gay stuff.
Don't do gay things.
Doing gay stuff was illegal.
Yeah.
Being gay. There was also some stuff too in there about the American Psychology Association, some others of there's a handbook that goes out, and it was years, decades of people, activists pushing against it to get homosexuality moved off of the list of mental disorders.
Yes.
And just being like, no, it's being gay is normal. That's all. These are all newer ideas in the American system. In a lot of other different cultures, it's very different. But that's very interesting. So Stonewall Inn didn't have a liquor license.
No, it was considered a private club. So that was a loophole. So you had a private club like the Pen and Pencil. Mm-hmm. And so... Philly Private Club, shout out.
Which they can stay in Philly. They can stay open later.
Yeah,
and you can still smoke in some of them. There's rules.
Yeah, the private club, because it's not you have to be a part of the club. These people had to sign in a book when they went there, and they'd all use fake names. Obviously.
You'd be signing and become a member.
But they would be like, we can serve alcohol because it's a private club, and then they would do that thing where it's like a BYO. Like, oh no, we're just providing ice.
God,
you know what I mean? There was all these different loopholes.
Like every hookah bar.
Yeah, so it was all these
bar.
different loopholes they used, but the private club was the biggest one because they didn't have to hold a liquor license. That being said, Fat Tony was like, we're going to do it whether we have the private club or the liquor license or not. They weren't worried about following the law.
No, they're the mob.
That's what.
I am the law.
According to the owners, they acquired this private club's license for Stonewall. They intended to serve LGBTQ people without obtaining the license. So they openly stated within
the mob.
They're like, we're going to do this.
They're like, we're the mob. It's cheaper for them to pay off cops.
Yeah.
Than it is for them to try to go through all of the push.
The bureaucracy?
The bureaucracy to get this document.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing like Amazon, UPS, and others. They have a baseline for tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Like parking tickets.
Yeah.
Because they just we're going to get them.
Yeah.
So it's just at this point, it is basically a kickback to the city. And it's the same sort of way for them kicking back to the local police.
The owners controlled everything in the club. They owned the jukebox, the cigarette machine. So everything inside they were making money off of. Okay. They also bribed New York City's 6th Police District. They paid about $1,200 a month for the cops to turn a blind eye to the goings-on of the establishment. So again, they're we're going to take money from the fucking jukebox to pay off the cops, basically.
Yeah. I miss a jukebox.
Oh, I miss a cigarette machine. I don't even smoke.
Remember
you pull the little bar?
Yeah, you got to pull the bar
Let me get them Camel Crushes.
Yeah. No, I miss, I truly miss,
what was the thing where you did the Mega Touch with the naked people? We used to do
that
a
is
lot.
Mega Touch. That is literally just called Mega Touch. That's the bar game that would pop up. Now in Pennsylvania, it's literally slot machines.
Yeah.
They were like, no, there's skill games here. And I watched some sad person dump $20 in to win 3.
No.
But I miss the giant jukeboxes. Where
that had the slab and you had to spin it with the thing.
I liked, because the thing is that you go to some places and the music was curated.
Yeah.
So I was like, this our jukebox got 50 songs. Or
McGlinchey's Crush.
Yeah, but they were all handpicked. They're not going to have a song that we don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Versus when the mega tunes, whatever.
And then you could look up whatever.
Whatever, and then sometimes you had to pay extra to download it.
Yeah, but wasn't there a way to skip to other people's songs?
Yes, you could pay extra to skip other people's songs, which is evil. But also, I have a friend of mine, and he used to do this all the time.
Yeah.
There's an app.
Okay.
Because those things are tied to the internet. And so they were like, no, we want to make an app. So that way you can go and you can pick songs. So you don't have to get up from your seat. So you can play the songs in your jukebox.
Yeah.
But again, it's tied to the net. So I have a buddy of mine where every time he gets mad, he goes to this one like super red county in Oklahoma and he picks random bars like on a Friday night where he can like tell, because they'll have like live streams and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And he can tell like they don't have a DJ and he just starts loading it up with like Lady Gaga. And I'm like, what? He told me though he only does it like once every couple months because he always has to uninstall because that app is stealing so much data.
Yeah.
Like you can feel your phone get hot as you use it. Because he's like, it's loaded with credits.
Okay, so there's no police enforcement of local laws at this point.
Yeah.
Fat Tony was able to cut corners on safety and hygiene. Bartenders did not have access to running water behind the bar. They often serve drinks, most of the time, in dirty used glasses.
This is also before bottled water.
Yeah.
So it's not like they could just have a case of bottled water and then you're just kind of rinsing it into a slop sink.
Yeah.
They legit don't even have running
There's
water.
no running water.
That's insane.
Many gay rights groups blamed the Stonewall for the 1969 outbreak of hepatitis among its patrons.
Oh, because they're all drinking from dirty glasses.
Yeah, and that's how you get hepatitis. That's why you're not supposed to grab them like that. Yeah.
Not from the top.
You're always supposed to grab from the bottom.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Yep, that's how you get Serve Safe certified. Gotcha.
Look
Okay,
at that.
so in violation of other city codes, Stonewall also lacked a rear exit, leaving the narrow front door the only escape in event of a fire emergency.
All right, guys. All right, everybody calm down. I can already feel you writing rear exit Stonewall jokes. Calm down.
Don't do
number
it.
This is
Yeah.
very similar to the story of immigrants in this country, migrants in America right now. There's a big thing we pointed out repeatedly about things like sanctuary cities. The reasoning is because what they were doing was considered illegal under the law, even though it's not immoral to being gay.
Yeah.
But because the actions of being gay were illegal, they were immediately put into situations where there was no way to enforce the other laws.
Yeah.
So because they're gay, they can't get clean glasses. They aren't in a building that is up to fire code.
Yeah.
And the same thing you see happen with immigrant communities in the United States, especially as we've seen updates in ICE and others in these raids. They're less likely to call the police if they're being abused by a loved one or also by just the system around them. They're less likely to call L&I because what if an L&I inspector shows up and then they give an ICE tip?
Yeah.
You're less likely to want to touch base with any level of your government because you know that government at any point in time will say, oh, by the way, while we're here talking about the lighting situation, you're illegal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw you in jail. And this is
Yeah.
the exact situation they ended up with.
Exactly. Also, the alcohol served at the bar, which was probably stolen or bootlegged, was watered down and sold at top shelf prices.
Of course.
So,
Of
how
course.
dare- come on.
Of course.
Right. They had water to water it down, but not clean the glasses. Wow.
Okay, listen. At the end of the day, let's get one thing clear. Stonewall was owned by Italians. Okay? Every Italian restaurant I've ever worked in, everything was watered the fuck down. Don't ever fucking, Mafia. Okay, no. Italian. That's an Italian thing. I've seen them water down I've seen them water down ketchup. Ketchup. I've seen it happen, all right? Fuck out of here.
Oh, we should have got a little, our puppet.
Oh, Pepe Pizzeria?
Pepe Pizzeria.
right
He's
here
somewhere over there. I can see him. He's looking at me from over there.
Oh, he is. He's on the floor over there.
Oh,
He's
man.
saying to himself, hey, it's me. I got a pepperoni for you, huh? You want to open up the back of your throat for my pepperoni?
Stonewall's owners also repeatedly engaged in extortion.
Yeah, no shit.
So employees, the bartenders and other staff, would single out wealthy patrons who were not out publicly, obviously, about their sexuality.
Barely anyone was.
And they would, hunt for more information about them and then blackmail them for large sums of money with the threat of being outed.
Yeah.
So the bartenders were in on it with the crime bosses.
Yeah.
Like if anybody came in that was actually like wealthy or, had any power, they would have people follow them home. They would have somebody fake flirt with them to like get more information.
This is basic. This gay bar is basically the equivalent of a porn site that is stealing all your info.
This practice eventually became the most profitable aspect of the club's management.
It was a honey trap.
It was a honey trap.
Yeah.
So they were like, at the end of the day, Fat Tony and all the others were like, oh, okay, so the money from the alcohol, the money from the jukebox, the money from the door costs, this money, that money. They're also selling drugs.
Yeah.
Because they're also the people selling any drugs. So like they're making all this money and they're like, you know what though? Nothing is as good as the blackmail money.
Nothing is as good as telling a guy in a nice cufflinks that you love him and then writing his name down and saying you'll tell the New York Times.
Yeah.
Nothing pays as well. Anyway, come on into Catfish Night at the Stonewall Inn. Hey, welcome to the Stonewall Inn. I love you. Now $1,000.
$1,000, please.
It's me, Fat Tony.
Despite the police payoffs, mafia-run establishments were not exempt from state laws, and owners were prepared for regular raids. If a bar was shut down by the police or the licensing board, most owners could pick up and relocate the entire operation to a nearby alternate space, filling it with new items and people and staff. Managers also often kept a few liquor bottles stored off premises, so in another building, in cars that were parked, or in some cases hidden behind walls and panels.
So they're still doing speakeasy shit, even though
Yeah.
this is decades after Prohibition has been overturned.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing, too, is the mob has experience with running speakeasies from Prohibition.
Yeah.
And this is just one big, giant gay speakeasy.
Yes.
Can I say-
With blackmail.
Yeah, I know. But can I say something? I hate a modern speakeasy.
Oh, gross.
I hate them. Like, when you go
They
and they're
feel
like,
so pretentious.
it's so pretentious. Oh, no, look, you have to go and you have to know the 4-digit code in the phone, and then it'll spin you around and put you into a bar where the cocktails are $35 and you have to wait 45 minutes to drink.
Yeah. It's called the amaretto scooter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, the ice, we hand chiseled the ice. How about you hand chisel me a shot of Fireball and a Miller Lite?
I would like a crispy Diet Coke from McDonald's, please.
Yeah.
You got one of those?
I would like you to play nothing but Rihanna jams from 2014.
I have a peach citrus fresca. You can't do this.
Yeah,
You can't
no,
do this.
I've had some very close friends of mine who worked in speakeasies.
I was gonna
and-
say, didn't Ryan? He was the door guy there.
Yeah, there's a few guys I know that have worked at multiple different speakeasies, not
Yeah.
just that one. Our one friend he was a bouncer of a speakeasy
Yeah.
in Philadelphia, and he got to tell Tiffany Trump no. And that was his big claim to fame from the first term. He was like, "Yeah, Tiffany Trump showed up," because they all went to UPenn.
Yeah.
And he showed up, and he was like, "Yeah, you gotta wait."
No.
Because she showed up with like her friends and Secret Service. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so you need a table of 12 on a Saturday at 1
You
p.m.?
want me to let Secret Service, aka the cops,
Yeah.
into a speakeasy?
Yeah, no.
Get out.
I can't tell you. I just no. Give me an entrance. Give me an easy entrance,
Oh, my
identifiable.
Don't make them pay for parking.
Jeez, don't even get me started. We went to the Cheesecake Factory yesterday, and the mall parking lot has premium parking now. I lost my mind. Absolutely the fuck not. They wanted me to pay $4 to park. We walked that extra block. I'm not paying $4 for mall parking. Nickel and dime me. They're like, it's an app. I'm like, okay, well, who enforces it? Like, the security guards enforce it. I'm like, how are they going to make me pay? They're going to put a boot on my car? You're going to come over here? I drove all the way to fucking Delaware to go to a Cheesecake Factory. There's $4 on the app. So it's an app, too. So you want to steal my data, because I know you're selling my data on the other fucking side. There's not a guy. There's not a ticket. There's not a toll booth. Get the fuck out of here. And they put it just in front of the Cheesecake Factory because everybody knows when you go to the Christiana Mall, you're going to go to the fucking Cheesecake Factory. Why would I want to park far from the Cheesecake Factory? I'm there to eat the fucking food and then walk around one of the last indoor malls left in America. If I want to park close. I don't want to pay for it. That's against the law. There's the laws in this country.
So.
Oh, yeah, gay bars.
Gay bars. Owners were prepared for all the raids, right? While patrons.
Real fast. We got to stop this now, though. We have to stop premium parking. They want to put class stratification into how we park. It's one thing if you're like, that's an expensive garage. The whole garage is expensive. What do you mean a segment? A segment of the free park? The parking lot, they didn't improve the parking lot. Just so you guys know, it was the same blacktop the entire way across. I looked, it hasn't been redone. They haven't been resealed in like 30 fucking years. The lines weren't bigger. It's not like you have premium space. At least when you're on the plane, you're like, you get on first, the chairs are bigger, they give you a free drink, you know? Nobody makes eye contact with you unless you demand it. That's different on a plane. This is a fucking parking lot. So I can walk to the Cheesecake Factory? You're charging me so I can get fat? No. This is the problem with this country. We nickel and dime everything. We used to have concierge service. You used to be able to get a hot towel. You used to have people come and go, oh, welcome to the place. Would you like a glass of water? And now they're like, $4 to park. Fuck you.
He also said this at the restaurant.
I didn't say, no. I asked the server. I was very nice. I was very nice at the restaurant.
Yeah.
I asked the server, I go, when did that happen? And they told us right before Christmas. And I said, you're kidding me. And they said, no. And our numbers are down, and everything here sucks, and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah, and our server said that they had to park all the way at
Yeah,
the
the
other
servers
end.
have to park.
And so at night, when they get done work, they have to walk across the whole
They
parking
have to walk
lot
across
alone
an
in the
empty
dark.
parking lot through an entire paywalled area because they park there every day.
Yeah.
And so if they get a ticket, they will get a fucking boot. So now you're charging the servers to walk further.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. So then I start looking up who owns this mall.
Yeah. I want to say that we didn't talk while we were at the Cheesecake Factory because somebody was rage researching everything about this mall parking lot situation on their phone. And yelling under their breath. Oh, they hit it in a shell
malls
company.
are dying in this country.
They hit a shell company.
All everybody wants in this country is a fucking third space. All everybody wants is a place where they can walk through air conditioning, inside, see other people, break down the walls of our fucking algorithms, leave our house, not feel isolated, and you want me to pay to fucking park? The point of the mall is that the common spaces are free. That's the fucking point. You know how a mall makes money? It makes money on the rent of the businesses inside of there. If you're charging me $4, I'm not going into your fucking businesses. The businesses fail. Your malls go under. I just got it. They're gonna make the mall into a data center.
Yeah. So speaking of third spaces, the patrons of these bars hated the poor conditions and the known underhanded business tactics that the Mafia-controlled gay bars and clubs were doing.
Yeah.
But they knew that they wouldn't have any third spaces without the Mafia. So they were willing to pay the parking, pay the door cover, pay the overpricing.
And it's not like they could complain to anyone because then it's the guy going to the cops to be like, my drug dealer shorted me.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I've known people who've done. I've known people who got so high they complained to police that their bag was short.
That's actually incredible, and I love that.
I know, but this is that similar situation in a world where being gay is illegal.
Also, I do want to be extremely clear that the mob is in no way accepting of the gay lifestyle at this point in time. But when I
said it's all blackmail.
Yeah, it's blackmail.
So much of it's blackmail.
But also, I found it interesting because like when I was doing research about the mob's like kind of interface with the gay community, it wasn't actually a big deal for the people coming in through the ports and the immigrants and like New York at the time. Like being gay wasn't really a thing until 1946 when the Bibles were changed. It was like there was a big change in the Bible, and then post World War II there was like homophobia palooza basically because of the Bible change and World War II. But before that, like the immigrants were just like, yeah, sometimes I have sex with guys. Like it was to be what we would call the bottom.
Yeah.
That person was gay.
Yeah.
But the just guys going around having sex with other people, they were like, yeah, it's whatever, dude.
Yeah.
We're all working together.
JFK famously had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
There's like there's like a guy. There's like these pictures of JFK and this guy together. And
Are they
like,
handsome?
Yeah, they're kind of handsome together. But when you're looking at it, you're like, oh. And it's just like, yeah, that's just what they do in college.
Yeah, like
it was just like a thing.
It was just like,
yeah, until they meet their wife.
And then the reason this also plays into what was called the Lavender Scare and the Red Scare during the 1950s, because the U.S. government and media tied homosexuality to the threat of communism. Gay men and lesbians were labeled as security risks. This was fueled by, obviously, Joseph McCarthy. The panic resulted in mass firings of LGBTQ plus federal employees, and officials claimed queer people were susceptible to blackmail and, by extension, espionage.
So that last part is the reason why you want, especially homosexuality, to be legal.
Yeah.
So that way there isn't a fear of your guys being blackmailed or your gals, is number one. Because they are more susceptible. Because you're telling us a story about how every bar they went to was making them pay protection racket to not be outed for using the bar they went to to go get a little kissy.
Yeah.
Okay.
To have a little dance.
And the thing is the Lavender Scare and the Red Scare, those two went together. There's a thing that happens. You hear conservatives, Nazis especially, they love to use this term, cultural Marxism. They lean on that term a lot. Cultural Marxism it's a dog whistle. It's
Okay,
a Nazi
I was
dog
going to
whistle.
say, it doesn't sound...
It is, but it's this idea that basically anything that isn't conservative lifestyle, so if it's not a straight, heteronormative, cis lifestyle,
Okay.
that is being pushed by secret communist agents
Yeah.
to destroy the fabric of the nuclear family.
Sure.
This is the type of things that you hear from them a lot.
Yeah.
And so playing that in with, you have these bars that are being run by the Mafia, which already obviously doesn't have a great reputation because they are criminals. So you have criminal bars that are doing criminal acts, that are being run by criminal organizations, that are being raided constantly, and whenever they're raided, this gets put in the paper. And that entire thing goes, okay, well, look, they're all criminals. You know what else is criminal? Communism.
Yeah.
And so that's how they would tie it all together, even though, again, it's not true.
Yeah.
Because as you look towards Russia, especially, these are especially big parts of Eastern Europe, deeply homophobic societies. Now, especially more post the wall falling. But this is part of it. There's these ideas that this would go. There's this idea that they're just so much more likely to do it, and so they have to persecute. Is this insane idea, and you see that happening all the time today on so many different issues. So
listen, let's take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk to you about the most historic raid of this bar.
Okay, and I need to lift my mood right before we find out about it. Some people think summer isn't relaxing anymore, but IndaCloud is here to change that. Is it feeling too hot? Let the clouds give you some cover, because whether you're watching the World Cup or just enjoying the sunshine, IndaCloud has everything you need to kick back and have fun. Soda-flavored gummies and zero-calorie THC sodas, premium vapes, fat pre-rolls, and high-quality flour. THC cereal bite edibles, perfect for a day on the couch, staring at your Nintendo Switch, wondering, how'd I get here? Who cares? Everybody else is out. I'm just enjoying the day with the windows open. Got just the right. I'm listening to Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Just playing in the background.
This is a real personal endorsement right here.
Listen, it worked really well. All IndaCloud products are federally legal THC. Everything sold is DEA certified and lab tested. If you're 21 or older and a new customer, go to indacloud.co. That's indacloud.co, not .com. And use code TABS for 30% off your first order. That's indacloud.co. Code TABS for 30% off all month long. Shipped discreetly to your door. Plus, free shipping on orders over $50 and $30 in free gifts on qualifying orders. After you order, fill out the survey and tell them Too Many Tabs sent you. Enjoy responsibly, and thanks to IndaCloud. Well, Mrs. P, let me come down from the clouds by sliding on this rainbow.
Oh,
breaking
my God.
us dead into the next part of this episode.
So the Stonewall Inn had an assortment of patrons. Patrons?
They have patrons.
Oh,
we have Patreons
right,
at
right.
Pearlmania500.net if you're
Got
tired of
it.
hearing these ad reads.
This bar specifically was very popular among the poorest and most marginalized people in the gay community. Drag queens, members of the transgender community, effeminate young men, sex workers, and homeless youth.
Okay.
Police raids on gay bars were frequent, occurring on average once a month for each gay bar in the city. Many bars kept extra liquor in secret panels, so that they could go back. During a typical raid, the lights were turned on and customers were lined up and asked for their ID cards. Those without ID or dressed in full drag were immediately arrested. Okay?
Got it.
No ID or address, arrested.
Got it.
Anybody else would usually be allowed to leave. Women were required to be wearing 3 pieces of feminine clothing, and if you weren't, you would be arrested for not wearing them.
So I'm guessing, so if you were a stud, or if you're wearing like jeans, boots, and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
you're in jail.
Yeah.
So they're looking for like what? Like a skirt?
That's what I'm thinking is like, what are the 3? Skirt, heels, bra?
I mean,
Hat?
that would count 3.
Yeah.
Big hat.
Big
gotta have
hat.
Big hat.
Lady in the Red Lady Society. Red Hat
Lady
Yeah,
Society. Yeah, that's.
I would fail that. I would get arrested.
You would get arrested right now. You would
Is
get
it my
arrested
hot
right
dog
now.
shirt?
Yeah, with your trans hot dog shirt. I'm over here with my gotta yearning for hot dogs.
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Yeah.
I got pants on.
You do have pants on.
I got,
you got your nails did.
clogs.
though.
I
Your nails
always
look
have my
good.
nails
Yeah,
done.
your nails look good.
Obviously. So I've got, look at this. I got a little strawberry bunny rabbit bracelet.
Yeah.
Come on.
But also, can we point out again, talking about with trans, like the trans bathroom bills?
Yeah.
Like there's this idea that you have to be dressed a specific way, so some random lunatic doesn't assume.
Yeah.
that
And you're like,
you're-
no, I just was born with a more square jaw.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just peeing. I'm just peeing.
Yeah. That's the thing that always gets me. The
I'm
thing that-
sitting alone in a room.
The thing that always
peeing.
drives me insane with the trans bathroom shit is literally we're talking about shit.
Yeah.
Like there was someone I talked to recently. They had a whole thing about how they were at Philly International, and they drove them insane going to the men's room because they've been to airports that have gender inclusive bathrooms where everyone just gets their own stall.
You just get your own stall.
You just get your own stall and
Love
with a
it.
door, with a full door handle
Yeah.
that can lock, and that was it. And it was so much more efficient because in Philadelphia International, the way the urinals are set up are like around this corner. And the first guy in the line was at some point must have been a teenager.
Uh-oh.
Because teenage boys are terrified to use the urinal next to another man.
Oh.
Because they think it's gay.
Oh.
They think even though there's a divider and there's a whole other urinal,
Parallel penises.
you have to make sure there's a urinal. Like there's literally like meme jokes about this.
Oh.
And so there's like a way of like having to like break through internalized homophobia.
Yeah.
To like be like, no, guys, we're all just peeing.
We're just peeing.
Like the Romans used to sit around in a circle and share
a vinegared
a
thing.
sponge on
yeah.
a stick.
Yeah, with dipped in vinegar.
But they literally all sat down and just stared at each other in the eyes.
They probably had good conversations.
They had great
Philosophical.
conversations. Yeah.
You know who I think is behind this? Big toilet. Because
Big
like
toilet,
think
American
about this.
standard.
Think about this. We have a women's room with 10 toilets and a men's room with 10 toilets. And then, God willing, a parent's one with the big changing table. So you
Yeah.
have that 11th toilet, right? Or whatever. So 10 and 10. Now we have 21 toilets.
You're actually wrong. You're wrong because what you would end up having is you'd have 8 urinals, 3 toilets.
Got it, because you guys get urinals.
Because we get urinals for
But
some
anyway,
stupid
so we have all
reason.
these toilets. But if you just did non-gender specific, this is a bathroom, like the bathroom in our house. It's
Yeah.
just a bathroom. You would just have 10 bathrooms, 10 toilets instead of 20 toilets.
Yeah.
So I think they're the
Also,
ones
I
behind
think
this.
I think on the cleaning side you could do better too if you do it as if you make all of them handicap accessible.
Yes.
Right? And then
With
you
a big changing table too.
with a little sink
Yes. Oh my God. When
inside so
when
that you
get
can
this-
wash your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a door locks.
With a door that is accessible. Yeah.
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 Oh, look, we just solved the whole non-issue because it was not an issue.
We figured out most of it.
Because we were peeing.
Because the whole thing is we're going in there to take a shit. And then here's the thing. Other thing too is if you don't put the sink in there, you know
Yeah.
what else you can do? Which I love, communal sink.
Love a communal sink.
When you come out and there's just like it almost looks like a water table, like
Yeah.
a kid's water table out there, and you're all just washing your hands.
Yep.
Good, because it would also shame the men into
Yeah, you
washing
gotta
their hands.
shame them.
You got to shame men into washing their hands.
It's weird that
I
you-
want to let you all know, before COVID, I don't think I ever saw a men's sink turn on.
That's weird.
Men are
man.
gross.
Men are gross.
We're gross. And one of the arguments is that men shouldn't be in the women's room, right? Because
Yeah.
of the communal side of this.
Yeah.
And because men are so gross
Yeah.
that we would gross up the sacred, cleanly space of women.
That's true.
But here's the thing. I used to work in restaurants. I've cleaned a women's room. Y'all are gross too. You're just a different type of gross. It's just a different type of gross. That's all. The women clean up at the communal space a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've never seen like a women's sink that was like disgusting.
Yeah.
I've been in men's rooms where like dudes have shaved into the sink.
Ew.
Like crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, that's then a matter of how often is the janitor coming in.
So during a typical raid,
I forgot what this is
The
about. This is
lights
about
were-
By the way, this is about the Stonewall Inn. This is a raid in the Stonewall Inn.
during the typical raid, the lights were turned on and customers were lined up. Like I said, they check for IDs. Let's see, the ladies wearing lady clothes. Raids typically occurred on weeknights or in the early evening when bar crowds were expected to be small.
Yeah.
The Stonewall raid, in contrast, was taking place late on a Friday night when the crowd was expected to be at their highest. Okay?
So there's a reason I do want to point out
Yeah.
to people who aren't clocking it yet. The reason the raids happen on weeknights or early on the weekends
Yeah.
during the peak days is because of the payoffs.
Yeah.
Because this was a part of the theater. It was never, the idea was never to shut them down. They had state agents that were coming in who were saying, you guys have to hit a certain quota of doing these liquor license raids.
Yeah.
And then the cops were like, all right, we got to do it. call Fat Tony and let him know.
Oh, no.
Make sure that his high-end regulars, his higher-end regulars, the ones who've been paying him off, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Tell those guys, watch out, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Maybe don't have that one guy you like working the bar that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was the type of setup.
Yeah, and so what has actually happened is there is a new police chief guy, like the guy in charge of the police at the precinct.
Oh, the captain.
The captain.
The
There's a
precinct
new
captain.
who's come in at this point.
Okay.
And he's trying to redo the police precinct.
Oh,
You know what I
one
mean?
of those.
So he's like, no, we're gonna clean these streets up situations.
Oh, because he wants a raise.
So
He wants a
Fat Tony
promotion.
was expecting the usual treatment, but we got this new cop on the block.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's some information I got when I was doing research. I didn't actually write it down, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That immediately makes a lot of sense if some guy's gonna come in. He's like, oh, I know, I'm gonna make my name.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy who raids gay bars more than anybody else.
Yeah.
And then it'll have
I'm
my
gonna
numbers.
clean the crime out of this community.
Yeah, and
in
then
quotes.
but then his stats would be higher too.
Yeah. So also, I think I did just say Friday night. It was actually Saturday night. At 1:20 a.m. on Saturday night, June 28th.
Oh, so that is Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's Friday
night into the morning.
In the morning.
Got
it's
it.
The morning. It's the very wee hours of the morning. On
So
120.
4 plainclothes cops and 2 patrol officers in uniform arrive at Stonewall Inn's doors unannounced, and then they make an announcement. Police, we're taking the place. What? 2 undercover police women and 2 undercover policemen had entered the bar earlier to gather visual evidence for the public morals squad and then made a phone call from the payphone to signal these other cops to come in. Stonewall employees had not been tipped off that there was a raid occurring this night. So that was against the normal protocol.
Yeah.
Approximately 200 people were in the bar that night. Patrons who had never experienced a police raid were completely confused. A few who realized what was happening began to run for the doors and skedaddle.
Yeah.
Okay, they went for the windows, the bathrooms.
Cheese it, it's the cops.
Literally.
Yeah.
The police bar the doors and lock everybody in, obviously.
Yeah. That's fire safe.
The raid did not go as planned.
Famously, this raid at Stonewall Inn in 1969
Is not going
did
to
not go as planned.
Standard police procedure, like I said, they're going to line them up. We're going to check IDs. The officers would normally arrest any trans women or drag queens. However, the women refused to go with the officers, and men were refusing to produce identification. The police decided to take everyone present to the police station. So they're like, we're arresting everybody. Usually we let some people go, but we're going to take everybody, right?
And part of that, too, is a scare tactic for the rest of the crowd is what they're trying is, okay, so because this guy's you guys have all been in that class. Y'all have been in that class because Mrs. P didn't bring gum for everybody. Now, no one's allowed to have Starburst.
Wait, what?
It was Starburst.
Oh.
She had an extra bag of Starburst.
I love a lemon.
But you
I love
wouldn't
a
give any
lemon
gum.
Starburst.
But you know what I mean? Like they pick random people, and in this case, they're probably trying to pit the drag queens in particular against the guys who are not showing ID and blah blah blah. You know, yo, this guy over here, come on, you'll act nice. You'll tell the rest to calm down.
So all parties, people that were interviewed about this event, recalled that there was a sense of discomfort spreading quickly through the crowd, and it began because some of the police officers sexually assaulted some of the lesbians, feeling them up inappropriately while frisking them.
Okay.
So immediately people are just like way on guard.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of beer and liquor that is being pulled out by some cops and taken to the curb, but the booze patrol wagons hadn't arrived yet. So the patrons were forced to wait outside. The ones that are in cuffs are getting lined up outside with the booze. We're all waiting for police wagons. This was poorly organized, new cop. New guy in charge didn't plan this out well.
Because again, this is also probably one of those situations where they're so used to well, how do we do it? This is how we do it. But they're not used to going on a Saturday morning at 1 a.m.
They wouldn't normally have 28 cases of beer, 19 bottles of hard liquor, blah, 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 because they would have only had a case of beer because they knew they were getting raided.
Yeah, and they would have made sure there's only 12 guys in there.
Yeah.
So that way they could have a number to say, hey, look, we did raid it.
Yeah.
But there wouldn't have been 200 people.
Exactly.
Half of which, with a big number in drag.
Yeah.
And just this, yeah.
Those who were not arrested were released from the front door area, but they did not leave quickly like they usually did. They didn't run away scared, which is what would normally have happened in the past.
Scared.
Instead, they just stood outside and watched what was going on. And a huge crowd began to grow because you're in downtown New York. People are seeing commotion.
Yeah.
They're in their windows going, what's going on down there? They're walking by.
It's also 1 a.m. There's probably 2 a.m. at this point.
Yeah. You're like, go to sleep. Wait, what's going on?
But you also have now the nightlife. This is Saturday. This is Friday night nightlife in New York in 1969.
Oh, it was probably so fun, dude.
Long before Fortnite. So everybody under 25 is out still.
Outside, baby.
Right?
Outside. Hot girl summer.
They're outside.
So the crowd begins to grow outside, and within minutes, 100 to 150 people had congregated outside. So we started with approximately 200 in the bar.
Yeah.
Now we have an extra 150 outside the bar.
Because also, too, remember, the bar is also open, and bars throughout the night, people come in and out of them.
Yeah.
So there are probably people who are coming to the bar because they were going to go end the night at Stonewall.
Yeah.
And now they're showing up. You're like, what do you mean it's been raided?
Yeah, there's what's going on?
Happening? It's Friday.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night.
Although the police forcibly pushed and kicked some patrons out of the bar, some customers that had been released began performing for the crowd by posing and saluting the police in exaggerated fashions. Drag show. Full drag show
so they're basically
in the streets.
They're basically doing Paris is Burning now?
Yeah, fully in the streets. The crowd begins to applaud and encourage the show. Right, because now we're doing it. The first patrol wagon arrives, okay? A police officer recalled that the crowd, whom they assumed were mostly homosexual, had become very quiet. Listen, that's a bad sign.
No.
You got 200 gay people on a Friday night out at a bar and it got quiet? I got chills thinking about it, right?
Pink Pony Club. I just want to tell you right now, if you're ever in a situation and 200 people are quiet looking at you,
get out of that
and
situation.
you're not on stage,
get out of it.
You gotta go.
You gotta make it.
There is an eeriness. Imagine if you're walking in Manhattan.
Yeah.
You get out of your car, and there's 200 people looking at you like this.
Yeah. Nope.
I'd go.
Nope.
I'd be like, oh, no.
Nope.
Ooh.
I'm somewhere wrong.
Yeah. Mind you also, again, this is 1969. We've had now, at this point, like multiple years. The 60s, especially the summers of the 60s, just riots on riots on riots. Yeah. So, like, there's a feeling. There's a palpable feeling in the air in the heat of the late 60s.
Yeah.
Between the MLK riots, things happening around the Vietnam War, everything having to do with students.
Yeah.
There's been this, you have this feeling, this blow off is coming.
Yeah.
And so this is that moment.
So the police first begin escorting Mafia members to the first wagon, right? So they're starting to put people in the police wagons, and at first they put the Mafia members, and the whole crowd of bystanders begins cheering. They're like, "Yeah, arrest him! Fuck you, Fat Tony!
Yeah, whatever! Yeah, look at him, Johnny Zuko."
Then the officers shove a person in drag, who responds by hitting him on the head with her purse. The cop then clubs her over the head with the police club, and the crowd begins aggressively booing. Then they begin throwing pennies at them. Mm-hmm. Then they begin throwing beer bottles at them. Mm-hmm. Then what happens is there begins a rumor spread through the crowd, and rumor implies lie. I don't know if it's a lie, but it starts going through the crowd that there's still patrons in the bar who are being beaten by the cops. Okay, so people are getting really mad. Now another scuffle breaks out because the cops pull a woman out of the bar in handcuffs. But the thing is, she had they keep trying to get her into this police wagon, but she keeps getting away from them 4 different times. And every time they catch her, she's swearing, shouting, punching, kicking. It takes about 10 minutes to get her to the wagon door, basically. She had been hit on the head by an officer with a baton, and one witness claimed she was hit because she complained that the handcuffs were too tight. When she's finally getting pushed into the police wagon, she screams at the crowd, "Why don't you guys do something?" And after this is the moment where the crowd becomes violent.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
There's also a moment, because I've been near some near riots and like moments like that. The scariest thing for whether it be a cop or anyone who is supposed to be in the crowd control is to ever hear someone in the crowd yell, "They can't get all of us."
Yeah.
That's the scariest moment.
Hey,
that's when you should drop.
They can't get all of us.
Yeah. Drop your shield and run, boy, because they can't. They really can't. And that in that moment, an invincibility happens inside people's heads. They go from, if I step over this line, I will get hit, to if we step over this line, I probably
it's a numbers
won't.
game.
Somebody else might get hit.
Numbers game.
And this is also down at a time when, again, as we've seen over the last few years now we have things like LRADs. Now we have different police tactics, right? Now there's flock cameras. The woman you're describing in the handcuffs.
Yeah.
I saw something very similar happen in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Around the ICE protest there, of people being handcuffed and actually getting away.
Yeah.
Getting away with the handcuffs on. But the downside is I saw it on film.
Yeah.
So it will be tracked. There's flock cameras. There's all of us carry devices in our pockets and we think, oh, this is interesting. We want to get it out there. But in reality, we're uploading people's faces to AI data centers. There's layers to it now. But the thing is those layers, just like they were dealing with in the 60s, are designed to make you pre-afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that this crowd was feeling up until that moment. Up until that moment, they were separated across dozens of gay bars across New York. They were separated by the different levels of the amount of money they had, how out they were, how visibly gay they were, whether or not their friends and family knew, whether or not their job would know, doesn't matter, any of those. And they were also being cornered. They were being picked off of the pack one by either the Mafia, who was demanding blackmail, or by the police, who was demanding a different form of blackmail in the fines they were doing, in the pickup raids and others that were happening. And we have that same sort of feeling when it comes in these moments today in 2026 of, will this get a knock on your door?
Yeah.
Will this cost you your job? Will libs of TikTok go and get mad at you for your Charlie Kirk joke type of shit, right?
Yeah.
And now we're getting into a point, just so everybody knows, we're getting closer and closer to a point where they've done it to enough people that people are beginning to ask, why aren't you doing anything? And then someone's going to notice they can't get all of us.
We just finished a sold-out show here in New York City, and the energy was amazing, Phil.
It was great. You had a chant going. It got weird. It got fun. It got crazy. But we have more coming because we're going to be doing live shows in Seattle, Portland, Boston, Philly, San Francisco, Phoenix, Denver, Atlanta, Chicago, St. Paul, DC, and Pittsburgh.
CrashingOutTour.com. Get your tickets now or check the link in both of our bios.
What a spot for an ad break. Okay.
So the police tried to restrain some of the crowd.
Yeah.
They knock a few people down, on purpose.
In 1969 at Stonewall.
But this incited bystanders even more. Some of those people that were handcuffed in the wagon escaped because the police left them unattended. So they all jump out of the wagon handcuffed and make a run for it. Then, after the wagons are empty now, some of the people in the crowd flip the police wagons. # go birds. Flip the wagon. Then some other people go and slash some cop tires so they can't drive away.
Yeah.
But a lot of the cops actually flee the scene. They don't talk about this a lot, but there's a lot of people that were there that said a lot of cops fled the scene.
Because they're like, I don't get paid enough to get punched by someone wearing that many rings?
No, literally, they were so embarrassed. They did not want to be seen as getting beat up by the gay community.
That's so
they
funny.
were like, I'm just driving back to the precinct. Whatever, I don't know. There was just
guys, my shift's up. I got my shifts. I gotta go. I gotta go. Those queens got bricks.
The commotion attracted more and more people.
Yeah.
And people were running down the street and being like, guess what's happening over at Stonewall?
Again, the worst time of the night to possibly do this. The only other time that would have been worse, actually, I would say is probably 10:30 or 11.
Yeah. Someone in the crowd declared that the bars, by declared, I mean screamed. Someone screamed, they didn't pay off the cops, which someone else yelled, well, let's pay them. And they started throwing coins at the cops again, which there's something so funny about throwing coins at cops. I can't.
Yeah.
They also start
This is why they push crypto.
Yeah, they don't want us to have access to coins anymore.
they don't want.
That's why they don't do the penny anymore.
Yeah, they got rid of the penny.
Because we would throw pennies
I
at them.
do want to say, if you get a quarter and you do that flick where you point your elbow and you flick it, that stings.
Got them.
That stings.
They're screaming pigs. They're throwing beer cans.
Hold on, real fast.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned it somewhere in here. You did mention that the mob called these fairy bars.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of just being like, who is that? It's the fairy archers. And they're just chucking quarters at cops. Like it would look like Helm's Deep. Loose. Ha! Like I just seeing these Irish cops. Oh, I don't get paid enough for this shit. I gotta go.
Irish cops that were installed by the 5 Points gang.
I love it.
Only a few centuries earlier.
Yeah, I love it.
The police lash out more, they try to disperse the crowd and push the crowd more. But here's the thing. As they disperse the crowd, there's a construction site nearby that has what? Stacks and stacks of bricks.
Okay, time out. Real quick. We've seen this happen. We saw it happen in 2020. I recently saw it happen also in Minnesota and a few other
Don't
different
touch
places.
the bricks. It's
Yes.
a trap.
There's been times where along certain routes, people have noticed that pallets of bricks have showed up. Those are plants. This situation.
This is where the cops learned about that idea.
Yes, this is pretty close to where it happened. In this situation, there literally is a construction site. They're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, the fence is open right here. Hey, there's a pile of bricks inside of a construction site. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're walking down the street and then you go, what's that pile of bricks doing there? The pile of bricks is waiting for you to fucking touch them.
And that's why you should bring a can of soup for your family.
Hey.
So the police are currently outnumbered by approximately 600 people who have gathered in this area with bricks and beer
Also-
bottles and pennies.
And for people who don't know, Christopher Street, like this intersection is pretty wide.
Yeah.
This is like a bigger area. It's not like this is on a narrow New York side street.
No, there's like a
or
little
like
park.
An alley. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a little park. It's like a Center Island park.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it was the same way back then, but like the space. Every time I've ever gone past Stonewall, I've always been kind of struck by how much space you could spill into the street on.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit wide. It was like there's a lot of things in here that are checkpoints of like, oh, you fucked up choosing this location.
Yeah.
Like the cops truly fucked up
Yeah.
with this location.
The 10 cops barricade themselves inside the bar with several handcuffed detainees for, quote, their own safety. Okay. Now, there was one of the people that was a detainee. His name was Howard Smith. He was a writer for the Village Voice. And I found this quote from the Village Voice, which was a newspaper at the time for
Yeah.
the gay community. It says, "We all have had a collective feeling like we've had enough of this kind of shit. It wasn't anything tangible anybody said to anybody else. It was just kind of like everything over the years had come to a head on this one particular night in this one particular place, and it was not an organized demonstration.
Yeah.
The Stonewall was a place of gathering for people who were not welcome in or could not afford other places of homosexual gathering. The Stonewall became homes to these kids. When it was raided, they fought for it, and they had nothing to lose."
That yes, and this is the thing as you've mentioned a few times here, like. Again, Stonewall was not the only gay bar,
No.
but also, as we know from seeing so many different levels of wealth and inequality in this country, is there are some people when they have enough money, they can dodge all of this. And so the people who were there were the ones who had to flee their homes from other places because of unacceptance. You're talking about people who are unhoused, so we have a lot of there's a lot of runaways and others that would hang there. These are people that weren't accepted because they were too flamboyant,
Yeah.
or
And
they
also-
didn't have the money to be able to go
Yeah.
to the higher echelon.
But
parties.
also, just being a person of color,
Yeah.
being a trans person was very looked down upon by the LGBTQ plus community at the time because they didn't even use that,
Yeah, they used that term.
terminology. And being a drag queen.
Yeah,
Those were-
LGBTQ was invented after this.
Yeah. So like the people that were there were considered, quote, the bad gays.
Yes.
Right? Like it was like they were the other of the others.
Yeah. I always think of the Patrick Stewart. There's this clip from Patrick Stewart from this movie where he plays a gay man like sitting with his boyfriend talking about, especially in the 90s, there was always this push for we're normal gays.
Yeah.
Look at us. And he was like, oh, look at you. But it's just it's such a great quote from this movie. I referenced it in a video a long time ago, but there was a huge push on this. And because of that, you end up, it's actually right now what you're seeing, the LGB community.
Yeah.
There's these people like get the T out type of bullshit.
Yeah.
They're all being pushed by the J.K. Rowlings of the world. Again, they're trying to do a thing of, no, being lesbian, gay, or bisexual, that's different than being trans.
Yeah.
But what everyone learned in this moment at the Stonewall is if they can do it to one of you, they'll do it to all of you, and they always will do that, and tokens get fucking spent. Just keep that shit in mind, everybody.
Yeah. It is said that the protesters lit garbage on fire and stuffed it through the broken windows and then the police were grabbing a fire hose, but the fire hose had no water pressure, so it was ineffective at dispersing the crowd around the bar. Marsha P. Johnson later said that it was the police that had started the fire in the bar, which in my opinion is probably true because the main inspector that I was talking about, he really wanted to close down this bar and he intended to dismantle the Stonewall that night. So the cops had actually smashed the payphones, broken the toilets, the mirrors, the jukeboxes, the cigarette machine, everything. So why wouldn't they burn it down? That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Got it. And it wouldn't shock me too of just as they were smashing stuff, especially if you're smashing bottles of alcohol.
Yeah.
And this is back when you could smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
That, a bottle of low-end vodka getting a cigarette ash in it is just a Molotov.
Yeah, or just the cops tried to burn it down.
Yeah, but in the smashing, the smashing, the burning could also happen. We have 3 different stories. I don't believe that they were trying to burn their own bar down.
Yeah.
If they're fighting to save it.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't burn it down in that moment.
But the newspapers at the time were like, oh, they tried to burn it down.
They were trying to smoke them out.
It's like, why would you burn it down your own bar? So when all this violence is breaking out, the women and trans masculine people that were arrested were held down the street at the Women's House of Detention. And here's the thing. The Women's House of Detention, I looked, it's literally at the end of the street. From the Stonewall, they could see it from if they're on like the 2nd or 3rd floor of the detention center.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? So these women and trans masculine people that were arrested, they're screaming from the windows, gay rights, and they're lighting their shirts on fire and throwing them out the window. They're grabbing things from inside the jail and throwing them out the window and screaming at the people on the street to fight for gay rights. And I have a quote, a historian, Hugh Ryan, said, when I would talk to people about Stonewall, they would tell me, the night on Stonewall, we looked to the prison because we saw women rioting and chanting, gay rights, gay rights, gay rights.
I'm just picturing on that street, there had to be some old person who was just trying to sleep. And it's a hot night, it's pre-air conditioning.
Yeah.
So the window's open, they're like, okay, come on. I'm
going to tell you exactly who it was. His name was Bob Kohler. The SWAT team arrives to try to free the cops that are trapped inside Stonewall. That trapped themselves, by the way.
Yeah.
This guy, Bob, who was walking his dog before bed, happened to be walking his dog by Stonewall that night, saw the SWAT team arrive, and he had a quote for the newspaper. These cops were totally humiliated. This never, ever happened. These cops were angrier than I guess they had ever been at anybody who had ever rioted before. Now, I'm saying, this is the quote, but anybody could riot, but the fairies were not supposed to riot. No group had ever forced the cops to retreat before, so the anger was just enormous. I mean, they wanted to kill them.
That's crazy.
Because that's the thing. These cops are extra mad that it's the gay community.
Because, and like I was saying before, there had been so many riots, there had been so many uprisings that had already happened, and there had been this palpable feeling for years. There's a reason why Nixon won the year before, 1968. Nixon came out, law and order, the silent majority. We're the ones who are actually going to come in here. But again, you also see, just like we're seeing right now, there are always these moments where it seems like the right wing swings, and then people go, "Oh, okay, well, you don't want to do it the nice way. Then let's go try this way." And this is kind of that sort of moment.
Yeah.
Nixon was coming in and telling the cops to go beat people. Nixon was coming in and telling them to be more to scare crowds away.
Yeah.
And then the crowds were like, "Oh, there's enough of us."
Yup. The SWAT formed a military formation behind shields and attempted to clear the streets by marching slowly and trying to push the crowd back. The mob openly mock the police while the crowd began cheering and starting impromptu kick lines and singing and kick lining towards the police.
A can for my family?
A can for my family against the SWAT.
That is so. Imagine trying to be intimidating.
Yeah.
And they're doing kick lines. Come on.
Yeah, come on, be real.
Imagine you're trying to pretend like you're an orc. You're one of the Uruk-hai marching towards Helm's Deep, and in front of you is 600 gays just hissing.
Doing Chicago.
Oh, that's so incredible.
He had it coming.
He had it coming. I don't know if that was the music
It wasn't out then. So
something for everyone, a comedy tonight.
An owner of a local bookshop reported watching police chase participants through the streets, only to see them appear around the next corner behind the police.
That's Scooby-Doo shit. That's like the Scooby-Doo hallway run?
Yes.
Is that? Or Benny Hill?
That's what I was picturing is Benny Hill is like the cops with the billy clubs chase a guy, and then all of a sudden they're behind him.
There's this one shot I'll never forget from Chicago. I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Of some dude talking shit on like ICE or DHS, like in the streets. And he's like on one of those like rental bikes. And he like drops his phone, and they start running towards him as he drops his phone. He scoops it up and he gets away on the bicycle. And then like, I don't remember if he circles back, but emotionally, it feels like he's like, and you're slow. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just feels that way. There's so many times like that where you'd see these fucking losers.
Yeah.
And their stupid masks.
By 4 a.m., the streets had been nearly cleared. Many people sat on stoops and gathered nearby at the park throughout the morning, dazed in disbelief at what had transpired. Many witnesses remembered a surreal and eerie quiet that descended upon Christopher Street, and electricity in the air. One person commented, there was a certain beauty in the aftermath of the riot. It was obvious, at least to me, that a lot of people really were gay. And this was our street. 13 people had been arrested, some in the crowd were hospitalized, and 4 police officers were injured. On the next day, June 28th, people came to stare at the burned down blackened Stonewall Inn. Graffiti appeared immediately on the walls of the burned out bar, declaring drag power, they invaded our rights, support gay power, legalize gay bars, and my personal favorite, we are open.
Like in Clerks. Yes, we are open. Can I go back real fast to the thing about not being alone?
Yeah.
This has been a thing that is growing because the isolation and solitary confinement that we are causing ourselves through our apps. This has been a thing that this how they win, how they get control. It's making you feel like not only are you a minority, but you're alone. And even though these were gay men in a gay neighborhood, the neighborhood itself didn't even know who it was because it didn't even know who their neighbors were. And it wasn't until they were all dragged out of a dark bar into the streets, and then the communities start to come together. Because again, think about this with a bar or any of these like places. People are cycling through. Sure, you see the same faces every now and then, but you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. You don't know their story. And until you're standing next to someone else and you're both screaming gay rights and throwing quarters at a cop.
Yeah.
There's a moment there where like that is different than sitting off to the side and picking up the Village Voice and being like, we should have more representation. Yeah. There's a difference in there. And it's the same thing I've been screaming when I went to all these conferences in the last week.
Yeah.
We got to figure out how to get that online, offline. I love that you guys write comments. I love that we all are in the comment section. But we have to take that comment section rage and we have to make it into real world action. And this is an area of it will happen in a blow off, or we can prepare for it. And I think there's so many people who are preparing for this that when this natural moment happens, this is where you get the turn.
That next night, there was more rioting, again surrounding Christopher Street. Many of the same people returned from the previous evening. Some street youths, hustlers, queens, also people not from the neighborhood. Some police provocateurs showed up.
Yes, and they do show up.
Curious bystanders, and even some tourists who had read about it in the paper and were like, well, we're visiting.
Yeah.
We're in New York.
Hey.
Let's go see what New York's doing.
Start spreading the news.
Remarkable to many people was the sudden exhibition of homosexual affection in public, as described by one witness. Quote, from going to places where you had to knock on a door and speak to someone through a peephole in order to get in, we were just out. We were out in the streets. So, like, this was a cataclysmic change in the neighborhood, like you were just saying.
Yeah, because, I mean, think about it, though. If before that moment you were always worried that somebody would declare that you're gay, and then it didn't matter. You go through every single precaution.
Yeah.
You go through every single precaution. You're paying blackmail to the mob so you can hide in a bar that doesn't have running fucking water to be able to get a kiss.
Yeah.
You go through all of those fucking steps, and then the cops show up and said, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Then why do all those steps? Just be gay on the streets. Be gay in the streets.
Just be gay.
Just be gay in the streets.
Thousands of people had gathered in front of Stonewall, which had opened again, choking Christopher Street, because people are coming from all over at this point. The crowd spilled out into adjoining blocks. Marsha P. Johnson was seen climbing a lamppost and dropping a heavy bag onto the hood of a police car, shattering the windshield. We love when somebody climbs a pole. I just had to bring it up.
You got to bring up a pole.
Sometimes
climb.
you got to bring up a flying pole and a whole bag. I'm going to say bricks. I don't know.
Can I tell you?
Marsha P. Johnson threw the first bag of bricks. Dropped it.
When the Knicks lost Game 3, and there was like some, I'll say minor scuffles in the streets. You know, I saw some, Spurs fans getting attacked by Knicks fans.
Yeah.
And I saw someone's head get lit on fire and some other things.
Sure.
And I kept seeing the comments be like, New York, why don't turn into Philly?
You could never.
Fuck you.
You could never.
Fuck you. Here's my question for you real fast. How come when your city starts rioting, you immediately start thinking about Philadelphia? It's because we live rent-free in your head because the rent's too goddamn expensive in New York. Enjoy your lovely mayor, okay?
We love him. We're so
By
jealous.
the time this is posted, hopefully the Knicks will have won.
America's
but we'll
team.
see.
America's team.
Owned by evil people and worshipped by them.
Who isn't owned by
I know,
evil
that's the thing.
people?
That's the thing with the Knicks. It's like sitting there, there's this beautiful story of like all of New York coming together around the Knicks.
Yeah.
And then like Howard Lutnick, Jerry Seinfeld, and Donald Trump are in the audience. You're like,
yuck.
That's too many kids.
Whoa. Okay.
What?
Craig. Okay. There's these two guys I need to introduce you to.
Okay.
Craig Rodwell and his partner Fred Sargent. They owned like a bookstore in the area. I think it might have been the first gay bookstore in New York.
Okay.
And they also like did like what we would call like zines now. Zines.
Yeah.
And they began printing. So this same weekend when all this is happening, they sit down together and they start writing out a leaflet. And they print it out almost like printing press style and start distributing it. They end up distributing over 5,000 leaflets. So they're out in the streets handing these out. Like they were like, we need to get the word out. We need to spread this message. There's people in the streets. Blah, blah.
I miss pamphlets.
Yeah. Well,
We
the
used
only
to
time
get
you get
pamphlets.
now are like the Jehovah's Witness ones.
Yeah, but or
the ones where it's like, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah,
And it's a little
no. I'm saying
cartoon.
is like people used to just hand out pamphlets of different ideas and you get them, you can throw them out, whatever. But like now the only ones I ever usually get are like the tourist thing for like a bus. You know what I'm walking by like take the bus tour. I'm like, I don't fucking.
No, I'm not taking a bus tour.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, this is the title of the leaflet.
Okay.
Get the mafia and the cops out of gay bars.
Okay.
Nailed the title.
That's good SEO. Maybe should we use that as our title?
Maybe we should use that as our title.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read it to you really quick. It says, the nights of Friday, June 27th and Saturday, June 28th will go down in history as the first time that thousands of homosexual men and women went out into the streets to protest the intolerable situation which has existed in New York City for many years. Namely, the Mafia control this city's gay bars in collusion with certain elements of the police department of the city of New York. The demonstrations were triggered by a police raid on the Stonewall Inn late Friday night. The purported reason for the raid was that Stonewall's lack of liquor license. Who's kidding whom? Can anybody really believe that an operation as big as Stonewall could continue for almost 3 years with just a few blocks from the 6th Precinct House without having a liquor license? No. The police have known about the Stonewall operation along. What has happened is the presence of new, quote, brass in the 6th Precinct who have vowed to drive us out of the village, end quote. Where it says drive us out of the village, there is a slur there that I'm not going to say. But I just for
I understand.
Historical clarity.
Yeah. No, I find it. This is very smart that they came on this so quickly.
Yeah.
About like, no, part of this is the fact that the mob controls this.
Yeah.
And that we don't have people who are willing to, again, go through the work of dealing with the paperwork.
Yeah.
Like cutting this corner is actually what's holding us back.
Yeah, so then they call for three. This is what you do. You write the mission statement, and then at the bottom of their leaflet, they call for 3 actions of the community. They give people 3 direct actions. 1, that gay businessmen step forward and open gay bars that will be run legally with competitive pricing and a healthy social atmosphere. 2, that homosexual men and women boycott places like the Stonewall. The only way it seems that we can get criminal elements out of the gay bars is simply to make it unprofitable for them. And 3, that homosexual citizens across all of New York City and concerned heterosexuals write to Mayor Lindsay demanding a thorough investigation and effective action to correct this intolerable situation.
Wow. Those are 3 great call to action.
I'm saying.
Number 1, the first one, though, of being like gay businessmen. I know you exist.
Yeah, we know. You're the ones
and
who
we know who
blackmailed.
you are. Yeah. Exactly. It is cheaper.
Yeah.
It's actually cheaper for you to open gay bars.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, boycotting and just being like, we're not going to use this. We're just building our own system finally.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. And I think it's so important to highlight that last one, though, about calling on the mayor.
Yeah.
Because this year, 2026, all these years later, they had a massive pride event in New York with Mayor Mamdani.
Yeah.
Where they had ballroom culture in front. He declared the protection of trans people. They had drag queens out there. They had people being visibly queer.
Yeah.
Openly. And declaring that this is part of New York City culture is such a giant flip. And I think the thing that we've seen a lot with, especially around Pride, there was years ago of the joke about, Lockheed Martin doing a rainbow flag and, pink washing and rainbow washing and all this stuff. There's a difference, though, is when they retreat. Yeah. When the fake allies retreat. And I think this is that step in the right direction, and this is what we need to constantly see, is because every time there are dark moments like this, that's when you get your next moment of light to cut through the clouds.
Yeah. Now, the feeling of urgency also spread throughout Greenwich Village. Even people who had not witnessed the riots were moved by the rebellion and started attending organizational meetings. People felt this was an opportunity to take action. So like you were saying, like gay rights groups started popping up all over Greenwich Village and also New York City because people were just like, we've met each other, we're motivated, let's create groups, let's get action done.
It's also a thing too, is again, before some of these groups existed, but they weren't gonna get any press.
Yeah.
They existed, but they also didn't want to be highlighted.
Yeah.
And the difference is, and a lot of people talk shit on stuff like Autism Speaks, I understand, but there is something about highlighting, showing representation, and bringing awareness, because where fear and bigotry lives is the idea that you actually don't know anyone like that. Yeah. That's the thing. It's the best way to destroy xenophobia, bigotry, racism is travel and conversations. Yeah. Just meeting strangers and then going, oh, okay.
So all of this is happening in late June, right? It happens in late June. On July 4th, fucking, America, dude. July 4th, 1969, the Mattachine Society performed its annual picket in front of the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, which was called the Annual Reminder, which was basically a gay visibility march that tried to show, quote, acceptable gay people. Okay. That was like their whole thing.
They're like, look at us, we're normal. We just happen to like men and women.
Yeah, the Frank Kameny, I believe is his name, when he was a co-founder of the DC chapter, he was very like strict about it and was like, it was very controlling about how this annual event went. Now, some organizers from New York all took a bus down to Philadelphia together. And the whole thing is that they started to feel very like restricted by the rules that Kameny had set, which included women had to wear skirts and men had to wear suits, and everybody marched quietly in organized lines. Yeah. Yeah. And so
it's the opposite of a pride parade.
So
just in gray. They're just slate gray.
Just gray, walking in straight lines, holding signs like, it's okay.
You should, if it's a gay pride, if it's a gay march, you shouldn't be walking in straight lines.
Whoa! At least zigzag. So people were feeling restricted. 2 women spontaneously held hands, not combusted.
Oh my God. Oh, everybody. 2 women held hands.
Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
Oh, but you don't even want to.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. You don't even want to know what they're doing at Charlie Kirk Way this week.
Frank Kameny broke them apart, screaming, none of that, right? Another guy, however, after saw this guy Rodwell, his last name was Rodwell, he convinced 10 other couples there to hold hands. Then all the holding hand couples made Kameny furious, but they got a lot of press attention because the press started taking pictures. And it was, the quote I have from this event was, quote, "It was clear that things were changing. People who had felt oppressed were now feeling empowered."
Yeah.
Rodwell returns to New York. His name's Craig Rodwell. Craig Rodwell, the one that went and got people to hold hands. He returns to New York City, determined to change the established, quiet, meek ways of trying to, quote, get attention. One of his first priorities was planning Christopher Street Liberation Day, which is the foundational predecessor to the modern LGBTQ plus Pride Parade, is that Christopher Street Liberation Day event.
And it wouldn't have happened unless he came to Philadelphia and watched someone say, "Stop holding hands,
Stop
girls.
holding hands, girls."
How dare you? Stop that."
He was like, "We're going to hold so many hands."
And now here we are 50 years later and people are arguing whether or not you can bring your straight boyfriend.
I don't know. It's not my place to say.
You've never brought a straight boyfriend to
That's
Pride.
true.
You brought a bi husband. And then you say, "Get off that pole." And I go, "But I have a bag of bricks and I hate this cop car."
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Well.
saw what happened in Philly. This last drop a bag of bricks. I didn't say that. So here's the thing. That's where Pride parades come from, right? To close it out on the mob, because that's where I started, right? The mob does eventually get out of gay bars.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I don't know. They could still be there. They find new ways to make money in the 21st century. The Genovese family took advantage of some lax due diligence that the banks were having around the housing bubble and maybe got loan shark victims to obtain home equity loans to pay off debts to their mob banksters. I don't know. It could have happened. The family found ways to use new technology to improve illegal gambling and had customers place bets through offshore sites via the internet. I don't know. You're just finding new ways to mob.
Yeah. They're mobbing up. It's digital mob now.
Allegedly.
It's digital mob
This is a comedy
now.
podcast.
This is a comedy history podcast.
Yeah, what do I know?
We don't know shit about the Genovese crime family.
We don't
at
know
all.
how to say it.
We don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Genevieve?
So listen, that's the episode.
That is the episode. I got a gay shirt. You got a trans shirt. We all have Pride together. It's June. Enjoy a hot dog. Watch the president fall asleep while he's watching a man get punched in the head.
Yeah.
That's America. It's pretty America right there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Guys, thank you so much. Remember, CrashingOutTour.com. You can see me live with Phil DeFranco anywhere in the country. Mrs. P, any final notes?
Have a great weekend.